Some numbers are pretty straightforward. What you see is what you get. But then there are others. And these are the fun ones. They have this secret language just waiting to be decoded. Today, we're going to crack one of those codes and reveal an amazing hidden structure in the numbers all around us. So let's kick things off with a little mystery. Take a look at this number. It seems totally normal, right? But it's hiding something that makes it super rare. So what on earth is the secret of 27,038? And no, it's not a prime number, it's not a perfect number, none of the usual suspects. Its real secret is all about how it's built, what it's actually made of. And to crack this code, our usual math toolkit just won't cut it. We need a really special set of building blocks, like a mathematical key to unlock what's hidden inside. And that key? Oh, it's a classic. It's one of the most famous and honestly, most beautiful sequences in all of math, the Fibonacci sequence. These numbers are everything we need to solve our puzzle. Yeah, you've probably seen these guys before. For what we're doing, we'll kick it off with 1 and 2. From there, it's simple. You just add the last two numbers to get the next one. So 1 plus 2 gives you 3, 2 plus 3 gives you 5, and on it goes. Now, here's the deal. These are the only numbers we're allowed to play with. But like any good game, we also need a rulebook. And that rulebook is this incredible piece of math called Zeckendorf's theorem. Think of this as the golden rule that tells us exactly how to use our Fibonacci building blocks. So here's what the theorem says, and it's pretty mind-blowing. It says you can take any positive integer, literally any of them, and write it as a sum of Fibonacci numbers. But, and this is a big but, there are two huge rules. First, there's only one right way to do it. It's unique. And second, and this is the absolute key, you can never use two Fibonacci numbers that are right next to each other in the sequence. No neighbors allowed. That no neighbors rule changes everything. Let's take the number 100. You might think you could do it like the sum on the right, 55 plus 34 plus 8 plus 3. But nope, invalid. Why? Because 55 and 34 are consecutive Fibonacci numbers. They're neighbors. That's the one thing you can't do. The correct way, the valid way, is on the left. 89 plus 8 plus 3. See? None of those are touching in the sequence. That's the one that works. So this whole idea is built on two really strong pillars. The first one is existence. A Zeckendorf representation exists for every single positive number out there. No exceptions. And the second is uniqueness. For each number, there is only one right answer. Not 2, not 10, just 1. All right, so we've got our Fibonacci toolkit, we've got Zeckendorf's rulebook. I think we're ready. Let's go back and finally crack the code of our mystery number. And here it is, the first part of the big secret. See, most numbers, you only need a few Fibonacci numbers to build them this way. But 27,038, it's a special case. It's rare because its representation is super long. It takes a whopping 10 different Fibonacci numbers all added together. And these are them. These are the 10 specific building blocks that make up our number. And if you go and check, you'll see none of them are consecutive. For instance, we use 1 and 3, but we totally skip over the 2 in between. We use 3 and 8, but we jump right over 5. The rule is followed perfectly. And there you have it. You add all 10 of those up, and what do you get? Exactly 27,038. That is its one and only unique Zeckendorf representation. So, puzzle solved. But what's really cool is that this whole idea is so much bigger than just adding numbers up. It's like a whole new way of writing them. Yeah, this isn't just some neat math trick. It's actually the foundation for a whole new number language, a totally different way to encode information. Okay, this is where it gets really, really cool. We can actually turn that sum into a kind of binary code. Imagine a long line of light switches, one for every Fibonacci number. If a number is part of our sum, we flick its switch on. That's a 1. If it's not in the sum, its switch stays off. That's a 0. Let's try it with an easy one, like the number 10. Okay, so we know its representation is 8 plus 2. So if we look at our Fibonacci light switches, the switch for 8 is on, and the switch for 2 is on. All the others in between, 5, 3, and 1, are off. So the code for 10 in this new language is 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. Simple, right? So if we use that exact same logic for our big mystery number, 27,038, completely transforms. It's no longer just a decimal number. It becomes this secret code, this long string of ones and zeros. Every single one in that string points to one of the 10 Fibonacci numbers we used in its sum. It's a totally different way to look at the same number. But wait, it gets even deeper than that. The method we've been using, Zeckendorf's way, with no consecutive numbers, is special because it always gives you the version with the fewest possible pieces. It's what's known as the minimal representation. But what's so wild is that there's a flip side to the coin, a maximal form, a way to get the very same number using the most possible Fibonacci numbers. It's this beautiful, perfect duality. You know, seeing numbers this way isn't some brand new idea. This concept actually has a pretty interesting history, and it connects mathematics to some really surprising places. So we call it Zeckendorf's theorem, and that's because Eduard Zeckendorf wrote about it and really popularized it back in 1972. But fun fact, the idea was actually first described 20 years earlier, in 1952, by a mathematician named C.G. Lekkerkerker. It was just Zeckendorf's work that really put it on the map. And this is maybe the most amazing part. This idea doesn't just live in math textbooks, it actually sparks creativity in the arts. Get this, musicians have actually composed complex, polyphonic music based on these exact representations. The non-consecutive, unique structure of the numbers becomes the actual blueprint for melody and harmony. I mean, the secret language of numbers literally becomes the language of music. How cool is that? So we started with a mystery number and ended up with a whole secret language, a hidden structure that's inside every single number. It really makes you wonder, right? If this beautiful, elegant system has been hiding there in plain sight all along, what other secret languages are just waiting for us to discover in the incredible world of numbers?